So here we are back at Godot docs, getting started step by step, and we're in the scripting languages section or page or whatever. Anyway, so this lesson is going to give us an overview of the available scripting languages in Godot. We will learn the pros and cons of each option, and in the next part, we're going to write our first script using GDScript. All right. So scripts attach to a node and extend its behavior. This means that scripts inherit all functions and properties of the node they attach to, all right? That makes sense. So, for example, we're going to take a game where a camera 2D node follows a ship. The camera 2D node follows its parent by default. Okay. Imagine we want the camera to shake when the player is taking damage or when the player takes damage. Yeah, like that right there. As this feature is not built into Godot, we would have to attach a script in the camera 2D node and code the shake. I mean, I don't think that's too crazy, right? So here's the available scripting languages. Godot offers 4 gameplay programming languages: GDScript, C#, and via its GD extension technology, C and C++, all right? So there are more community-supported languages, but these are the official ones. All right. I wonder why. Why would you need all these different ones? Why would you need C and C#, C++, and C# too, and GDScript? We'll figure that out later, but it's wild, huh? I think it's pretty crazy that we would have to use to get a specific thing done that we don't even know what that thing is yet. We would have to use all of these. I don't know. Anyway, so let's go. So we can use multiple languages in a single project. For instance, in a team, we could code gameplay logic in GDScript as it's fast to write, and use C# or C++ to implement complex algorithms and maximize their performance. Okay. Or we can write everything in GDScript or C#. It's our call. I just don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why is this better than this for that? But I guess we'll just have to keep going, and we'll see it ourselves at some point. So these guys provide this flexibility to answer the needs of different game projects and developers, all right? So which language should we use? If we're beginners, yes, it's recommended that we start with GDScript. They made this language specifically for Godot and the needs of game developers. It has a lightweight and straightforward syntax and provides the tightest integration with Godot. Yeah, so we see this thing right here. You know, it looks a little bit like Python. Let's come down here. So for C#, pardon me, we will need an external code editor like VS Code or Visual Studio. While C# support is now mature, we will find fewer learning resources for it compared to GDScript. And that's why it's recommended. That's why they recommend C# mainly to users who already have experience with the language. All right. So let's look at each language's features as well as its pros and cons, right? So here's GDScript. GDScript is an object-oriented and imperative programming language built for Godot. I don't know what this means. And this just sends us to all of these vocab-looking words are going to send us to Wikipedia, so I'm going to not really click any of them. So it's made by and for game developers to save us time coding games. Its features include a simple syntax that leads to short files, blazing fast compilation and loading times, tight editor integration with code completion for nodes, signals, and more information from the scene it's attached to, okay? Built-in vector and transform types, making it efficient for heavy use of linear algebra, which is a must for games, okay? Supports multiple threads as efficiently as statically typed languages. What is this? We'll get to this at some point, but they keep saying it, and I'm just like, what? Same with this word. No garbage collection, as this feature eventually gets in the way when creating games. The engine counts references and manages the memory for us in most cases by default, but we can also control memory if we need to. Yeah, so this is the memory thing, because you got to like delete memory and stuff like that. We'll get into that later. I see it as pitfalls, whenever I'm reading about this stuff, but we have yet to see what this means. Gradual typing. Variables have dynamic types by default, but we can also use type hints for strong type checks. All right. So GD script looks like Python, true, as we structure our code blocks using indentations, but it doesn't work the same way in practice. It's inspired by multiple languages, including Squirrel, Lua, and Python, believe it or not. This is probably the most advanced. Anyway, this isn't written for noobs. It doesn't seem like. So why don't we use Python or Lua directly? Years ago, Years ago, Godot used Python, then Lua. Both languages' integration took a lot of work and had severe limitations. For example, threading support was a big challenge with Python. Developing a dedicated language doesn't take them more work than they can tailor, and they can tailor it to game developers' needs. They're now working on performance optimizations and features that would have been difficult to offer with third-party languages. Okay. I mean, I'm sure obviously it's important. They jettisoned both of those languages, Python and Lua, to make their own. So obviously it has something to do with something, but I don't know what. Anyway, let's keep going. So .NET and C#. So as Microsoft's C# is a favorite amongst game developers, they officially support it. Godot officially supports it. C# is a mature and flexible language with tons of libraries written for it. They were able to add support for it thanks to a generous donation from Microsoft. Oh, how nice. C# offers a good trade-off between performance and ease of use, although we should be aware of its garbage collector. Okay, well. Okay, we must use the .NET edition of the Godot, of the Godot editor to script in C#. We can download it on the Godot website's download page. Okay, one day maybe, not today. We've got to see. We've got to be a lot deeper in this to know what the differences are. Since Godot uses .NET 6, in theory, we can use any third-party .NET library or framework in Godot, as well as any common language infrastructure compliant programming languages, such as F#, Boo, or Clojure CLR. Of course, of course, that's how it would be. However, C# is the only supported .NET option. Okay. So GD script code itself doesn't execute as fast as compiled C# or C++, even though it said it was blazing fast up there, but whatever. However, most script code calls function, most script code calls functions written with fast algorithms in C++ code. Stop. Let me read this again. However, most script code calls functions written with fast algorithms in C++ code inside the engine. There we go. In many cases, writing gameplay logic in GD script, C# or C++ won't have a significant impact on performance. All right. Let's keep going. Attention, projects written in C# using Godot 4 currently cannot be exported to the web platform. Okay. To use C# on that platform, consider Godot 3 instead. Android and iOS platform support is available as of Godot 4.2, but is experimental and some limitations apply. Okay. So to learn more about C#, we can head to the C# basics page. Okay. So we've got this C++ via GD extension. GD extension allows us to write game code in C++ without needing to recompile Godot. Okay. Okay. I mean, that looks like C++ to me. Look, they're doing the consts and then they're declaring it as float and a const float. And I forgot what the float and means, but it means something. We could always look it up. No big deal. But yeah, that looks like C++. So we can use any version of the language or mix compiler brands and versions for the generated shared libraries. Okay. Thanks to Godot's use of an internal C API bridge. Of course. GD extension is the best choice for performance. Okay. We don't need to use it throughout an entire game, as we can write other parts in GD script or C#. Okay. When working with GD extension, the available types, functions, and properties closely resemble Godot's actual C++ API. Okay. Okay. Summary. I can't look. I've been doing this for 3 years, and this stuff is still way over my head. But whatever. Let's keep going. Summary. Scripts are files containing code that we attach to a node to extend its functionality. Godot supports 4 official scripting languages, offering us flexibility between performance and ease of use. We can mix languages, for instance, to implement demanding algorithms with C or C++, and write most of the game logic. Well, hold on. We can mix languages, for instance, to implement demanding algorithms with C or C++, and write most of the game logic with GD script or C#. Turns out. Anyway, as you can see, there's no notes. Who even read that in real life? So let's go to the next one. All right, so there we are. So now we're on to creating our first script, and we'll see you next time.